To approve file number PDP 4986 incorporating staff's proposed conditions because the application for preliminary plan conforms to the approval given to sketch plan, and because the preliminary plan as conditioned meets all the standards for approval of the preliminary plan for planning and development, I further authorize the chair to sign the resolution approving the preliminary plan for PUD.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. All right. Thank you.
So we are living, as it were, on many, many levels of rhythm. This is the nature of change. If you resist it, you have dukkha, you have frustration and suffering.
You cannot.
But on the other hand, if you understand change, you don't cling to it, and you let it flow, then it's no problem. It becomes positively beautiful. Which is why, in poetry, the theme of the evanescence of the world is beautiful. See, it's always the image of change that really makes the poem.
So my comments talk about the affordable housing here and how I think this project is going to primarily benefit the upper end housing. That only 13% of the housing here is for people making 100% of AMI, area median income or less.
Again, for tonight's agenda, a quick summary, then we'll be going through questions from the board, then allowing for public comment and deliberation. Staff recommendation, going through the standards and conformance with the requirements in section 5240. Staff is recommending approval with the following suggested conditions.
We have it within our reach, the ability to enhance everybody's lifestyles by the changes that need to take place. It's certainly not popular to persevere change, but there's a quote that has sustained me as I pushed the project uphill over the last decade or so. A friend to all is a friend to none. Aristotle. I can't make this a project that everybody likes, and it would be wrong if I tried.
Ace talked a lot about population growth throughout the world, throughout the country, and it's all happening, and we're no different here on the Western Slope. The state demographer is projecting 37% growth by 2030 for the Tri-County area. And we can see that the buildings are set below the grade of the highway. And the existing trees create a significant amount of screening from the highway. So it's a very different scenario than what you see across the street in Willits.
The Climate Action Plan benefit of 200 kilowatts of solar includes avoiding 11,500 tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere annually, or the equivalent of removing 2,446 vehicles from our roads per year, or planting 35,000 trees.
So what happens when a group of people in the community disagree with the public vision? Some people in the community don't like the public vision. It's incongruent and incompatible with theirs. It's not to say their vision is wrong. It just doesn't agree with the collective vision that's been built over decades of community discussion and community decision-making.
I think it's awesome. Keeps busy. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, why?
You know, green, sustainable, just to be able to afford to buy my own house. I've been renting for the past 12 years that I've been here. Everything is like 800,000 and stuff like that. If you put me something at 400, 450 is definitely affordable.
This is the parking lot.
I'm very concerned about it. I know developers have done a good job of putting together something that they feel will be good for the community. I don't think it's going to be good for the community. I look at the traffic on Highway 82, particularly going east from down valley to up valley, much of a mess. And now you've got all of the Willits, and Willits hasn't even completed.
I think it's about, dialogue and discourse, and really trying to look at other models that may have worked in other places. It's difficult when trying to make a project pencil to have a prescribed amount of affordable housing, and so I think you have to employ a number of tools. If we can get to that, then I think we can get to having good developments that people can feel good about.
It's definitely a very diverse demographic between people who have lived here for a really long time, currently own homes, and are really established, and then people who are currently in the working class who are having to commute from Rifle, Newcastle, Silt, and so on, even further than that, who are trying to start a life here and be able to afford something in this valley. And right now there's just no housing.
14,000 residents in the next decade, growing its population.
There are uses proposed here that are prohibited in the resource PUD zone that you cannot legally approve. If you do, you're going to start a long series of litigation. So if you listen to your community as opposed to the developer, you will hear that this is not supported by the community.
High and lofty and standards that I agree with that Ace mentioned. Building nothing will give us much closer resolution of those standards than building this project.
The cost of housing under any plan put forward is not sustainable. How many people can afford $500,000 homes?
The mood is of great concern about the level of traffic congestion and lack of affordable housing that this developer is willing to provide in the name of maximizing profit.
What part of no don't you understand? SALT, Pitt County, the Planning Commission is saying no. You need to respect that decision.
I'm in favor of this project. 4 of my employees live in Rifle. They all commute and drive daily to work. They are young professionals, young families, and they would love an opportunity to live in the Mid-Valley.
No developer in their bright mind is going to annex to BASALT and let BASALT and their poor choices have control over that. Affordable housing, it's only 50 units. It is nowhere near enough affordable housing, but it's a start. You can't ask one single developer to solve the affordable housing issue in this valley.
I noticed that for the majority of these meetings, I have been one of the few, if not the only Latino present. It seems like there's nowhere for us. Rents keeps climbing and we want to live here as our forever home.
We represent an incredibly small, almost infinitesimal slice of the community at large. I hereby authorize you, on behalf of the great people of the great state of Colorado, to do what the heck ever you feel is in our best interest, regardless of what everyone else has told you, including their threat of legal action. The thing that I don't understand is that the machine that drives the traffic in the valley is the community at the end of it, not the communities in the middle of it.
It's just our mission for Eagle County, which is creating a better Eagle County for all. That's what we're out there for.
I wanted to have clarity with you that what quality of life is in this valley has nothing to do with 52 extra seconds at a light. It has nothing to do with not knowing who's behind you in the grocery store. It has nothing to do with the 6 groups that are at Mushroom Rock and you don't want to be there. The quality of life is your family, it's your dogs, your friends.
At this point, I'm going to close public comment.
Thanks to everyone here and everyone who had to leave already for sending in your letters and in your emails. We had almost 300 pieces of communication.
Really, the standard tonight was exceptional in terms of the public comment. I really appreciate it. Everyone was thanking us. And actually, we really appreciate appreciate the public taking the time to come.
Higher densities, 4 to 12 units per acre, are concentrated around the community centers within a half-mile radius or 10-minute walking distance, minimizing the use of automobiles and providing an efficient relationship between the highest number of people. It can be very confusing for the private sector to know what the community wants when it's talking about things that seem to match what the applicant's proposing.
Exhausted, but grateful that we get to help the planet and humanity. This will benefit BASALT, and it will be a natural process.
I'm satisfied with the outcome. I don't think it was possible. Clearly it wasn't possible to make everybody happy, but I think it's going to be a good project. I think we lose track of the fact that it's phased. This is not all going to pop up like a pop-up book.
I mean, I really want to thank the community for showing up, for giving their input, because I think it made it a better file. And as you heard our attorney say, we have to base these land use planning files on the standards and the master plans that are in place. Of course, the master plan is supposed to be the community's vision for growth and development in unincorporated Eagle County. The Board of County Commissioners doesn't adopt that plan. It's adopted by the locally appointed Planning Commission. And we just felt in general that it met that master plan and the other standards of approval. Can't rely on developers to solve all of our housing problems, but I think this takes a bite out of it. This is a community that's very passionate about the environment, water, climate. I think there are common goals and common ways that we can work together to help bring us back together. And frankly, I'm ready to look at all the master plans, to get with the town of BASALT, to get with our planning commission, to relook at, is it time to update those? Are they out of step with the community? We don't commission those, we don't adopt them, but I can certainly help facilitate that process.
The coming and going of things in the world is marvelous. They go. Where do they go? Don't answer, because that would spoil the mystery.